Good morning, church. Please excuse the informal attire. I came directly from work this morning. Anyway, as many of you already know, our Hispanic minister has done an exceptional job with the Hispanic congregation. As of right now, they have double the attendance that we have on any given Sunday. I believe the time has come for us to act upon that and further and lovingly support our Hispanic brethren in their mission. Therefore, let us be mindful of that as we proceed to meditate on God's mighty word this morning. Let us open our Bibles to Psalm 33:12. This specific verse reminds us of who we truly are. It reminds us of why our country is so great. It reminds us of why we have had such great leaders. It reminds us that indeed, blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord. You see, contrary to contemporary popular belief, America was not founded by gold diggers. She was not founded by people merely to get ahead in life either. And she was certainly not founded with the intention of pillaging or looting. America was founded with one specific purpose at heart and in mind: the free practice of the Christian faith, regardless of one's own race, ethnicity, and culture. From this transcendent truth, the rest of our founding documents draw their inspiration. Hence, the shared notion that these truths are self evident, that all men are created equal and have been endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, has been as American as apple pie before apple pie was even American. That promise, the promise that is America, has continued to hold true for generations since its inception at the Constitutional Convention, and it was supported for some time in no small manner by a small island. Historically known by many names such as Little Oyster Island and Bucking Island, Ellis Island came to be known by most as the Isle of Hope and by an unfortunate few as the Isle of Tears. As immigrants approached the small island in the upper New York Bay in their various sea vessels, they were awe-inspired as they sailed past the Statue of Liberty and came to the realization that this was indeed an open doorway to the land of promise and opportunity for all the poor and the tired and the huddled masses yearning to breathe free. From January 1st, 1892 to November 12th, 1954, in what came to be one of the largest human migrations in history, millions of immigrants came to this island of hope to exchange their drachmas, liras, and rubles for dollars and their fears for their dreams. The American dream, to be more precise. As they sat there and planned the home stretch of their weeks-long and grueling journey, the promise of America held true for them as well. The truth is that Americans have never feared a different culture or a different people, mainly because Christian values were so deeply woven into American culture. The church was so resilient that any mass of people that came to this land brought with them their food, their culture, and even their language, but adopted our Christian faith in the process. But my, oh my, how have things changed lately? Realizing that our culture may be in jeopardy today, we have come to fear the poor and the tired. We have come to fear exactly the people whom Lady Liberty welcomes with open arms to this very day. Today, we seemingly live in the shadow of a weakened Sparta as they pleaded for the first time to build a wall around their once proud and storied city. We walk in the footprints of Jericho as its citizens sought to find refuge behind its great wall from the incoming Hebrew invaders. Yet, we fail to realize that we are rejecting the poor and the tired because we, as builders, as a nation, have now rejected the cornerstone of our salvation, and without him, no good fort can ever be built to last. According to the U.S. Census Bureau, in 1970, 9.6 million Hispanics lived in America, which represented 4.7% of the population at the time. By the year 2000, that number had nearly quadrupled to 35.3 million and 12.5% of the population. In 2010, 50.5 million Latinos lived here on American soil, or 16.3% of the population. Today, in 2018, some 58 million Hispanics live here in America, or 17.7% of the population. While the Hispanic population continues to steadily climb, in stark contrast, it is estimated that by 2045, whites will become a minority at 49.7% of the population. By 2050, the white population will continue to decline to 47%, while Latinos will continue to rise to 29%. Furthermore, if these numbers hold pattern, the trend will continue to grow even further into the future. In addition, according to the Pew Hispanic Center, 62% of Latinos residing in the U.S. today are actually made in America. Folks, there is no wall we can build to hold them back. But what does that mean for us? In 1 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 19, Paul the Apostle offers us some words of hope. For though I am free with respect to all, I have made myself a slave to all, so that I might win more of them. To the Jews, I became as a Jew in order to win Jews. To those under the law, I became as one under the law, though I myself am not under the law, so that I might win those under the law. To those outside the law, I became as one outside the law, though I am not free from God's law, but under Christ's law, so that I might win those outside the law. To the weak, I became weak, so that I might win the weak. I have become all things to all people, that I might by all means save some. I do it all for the sake of the gospel, so that I may share in its blessing. The fact of the matter is that our mission efforts historically have not been as successful as we would like to think they have been. Therefore, in lieu of us going out to the nations to make disciples like we're supposed to, seems as if the Lord is sending the harvest out to us. You see, His love for the lost is so great. He wants to make it easier on us, His body, His church, to do our job. In a sense, the Lord has brought the mission field right into our backyard. But if we do not act now, believe me when I say that someone else will. As a matter of fact, someone else with a sinister agenda that truly jeopardizes everything we hold dear is already on the move today. As Abraham Lincoln foresaw all those years ago, America will never be destroyed from the outside. If we falter and lose our freedoms, it will be because we destroyed ourselves. Today, the battle for the hearts of the people of this great nation has begun, and I must ask everyone here today, if we, His church, do not fight, then who will? At the close of the Constitutional Convention of 1787, according to Dr. James McHenry, one of Maryland's delegates to the convention, a lady approached Ben Franklin as he walked out of the Independence Hall on the final day of deliberation and asked, "Well, doctor, what have we got? A republic or a monarchy?" To which Franklin quickly replied, "A republic. if you can keep it. You see, if the future of not only this church but of America and her dream is to live on, it must do so in large part through the Latino community. We can sit here idle and hide behind our wall of denial, behind our wall of fear, or we can rebuild with a strong foundational cornerstone and lead the change of tomorrow today. Therefore, I come to you today with a twofold demeanor, one of will and one of refusal. I refuse to surrender my children to the rising tides of secularism. I refuse to lose my family, my community, my city, my state, and by God, I refuse to lose my country to this so-called New Age philosophy. I refuse to yield another inch of God's glorious kingdom to the bitter claws of postmodern relativism. But most importantly, I refuse here today because I will. Because I will fight for freedom. Because I will seek divine justice above all. Because if need be, I will give my blood, sweat, and tears, so help me God. Because if anything, I still will. I still will God's will upon this great land. Here again, Abraham Lincoln enlightens us again with the visionary and timeless wisdom he so naturally portrayed throughout his career as he appealed to the eternal God of heaven when this nation faced a similar spirit of division as we do here today. He said, "My concern is not whether God is on our side, but rather whether we are on God's side." If you are here today and have any fight left in you, I encourage you. Let us continue to fight the good fight beside our Latino brothers and sisters, for rest assured, our fight is their fight as well. It is time that we hand off the torch of faith, freedom, and hope that lives so deeply within us so that Jesus can continue to live on through them. It is our turn to ensure that the promise of America continues to withstand the test of time. Therefore, let us take the first step and lead this generation into the future by gifting the sanctuary to our Latino brethren. Let us hope to build and keep this republic of ours. Let us continue to build and keep this faith of ours. Let us